Banir, the modeler for Grand Peace Online, recently sneak peeked a screenshot of the new Paw fruit coming to Grand Peace Online. In the screenshot, we see the model of a large paw and a small paw. The small paw is likely what will go on the player's avatar's hands, and the large paw is likely linked to one of the fruit's moves. It reminds me of the move Ursa's Shock from One Piece, so maybe that is what it's for. In today's video, I'll be discussing the Paw fruit in general, and also talking about how some of its moves could be implemented into Grand Peace Online. The Paw fruit is a Paramecia type devil fruit that allows the user to repel anything they touch. When someone eats this fruit, they get paws permanently engraved in their hands. Kuma, the user of this fruit in One Piece, always wears gloves when its powers are not in use. The first strength of this fruit is that it allows the user to push anything they touch into paw-shaped bubbles and send it flying. This includes things like air and physical pain. This allows the user of the fruit to be able to deflect and redirect almost any attack, giving them amazing defense. This incredible defense would likely translate into Grand Peace Online, as you could knock an attacking player far away, and it would be hard to land M1s on someone using this fruit. However, this fruit isn't just strong defensively, it's also equally as strong offensively too. The user of this fruit can create and send out devastating shockwaves towards opponents, and these shockwaves would likely do a lot of damage in Grand Peace Online. And Kuma displays a lot of techniques in both the anime and in official One Piece games like Pirate Warriors 3. One such move that I think would fit into Grand Peace Online well, and overall is an awesome technique, is Kuma's I will show you how technique. This involves Kuma throwing the damage that he received back at his enemies, healing in the process. And this would fit almost perfectly into Grand Peace Online, as you could absorb an attack and then repel it back at an attacking player. I'm just picturing a Paw fruit user absorbing an ultimate like an Enkai or a Raigo, and then sending all that damage back at an opponent. Just think about how devastating that would be in PvP. Another point that I would like to bring up is that I think that if this fruit is added to Grand Peace Online, that the M1s for this fruit should have a repel effect, but maybe not as extreme as the actual techniques. This could be at the end of a standard M1 combo, where a knockback would usually take place, and a similar knockback could happen, but perhaps it would be made even more powerful if the person M1ing has eaten the Paw fruit. Another technique that I'd like to see added in the game would be Puni, and Puni is a purely defensive technique used by Kuma where he repels an enemy's attack. This involves Kuma taking a defensive pose and almost deflecting an attack back at an opponent. This would be cool to see in game, and it reminds me a little bit of the barrier fruit that is also able to deflect abilities. By far the technique that I want to see added in the game most is the Ursa's Shock. And the Ursa's Shock involves Kuma gathering air into his palms and compressing it into a giant bubble. Then he releases this bubble back at an opponent, and when it hits the opponent it causes a massive explosion. Now this would very likely be the fruit's ultimate move in Grand Peace Online. I'm picturing the move doing lots of damage and having huge knockback. The main downside of this move though is that it takes time to charge up, so the user of this technique would be vulnerable while preparing for the ultimate. The damage would also likely scale with the charge up time, making it weak if released too early. Fortunately, it would also 100% be a block break, so even if the opponent reacted quickly, they would likely still get damaged. The last technique that I want to talk about is one that would be really interesting to see in Grand Peace Online, and this technique isn't really inherently an offensive technique and could even be used to support party members. The technique that I'm talking about is the one used by Kuma to repel people through the air, inside a paw-shaped bubble that protects them from any and all obstacles until they land in a location designated by Kuma, or in this case the user of the Paw fruit. This technique is called If You Want to Travel, Where Would You Go? And this move would be crazy to see in game. The uses of this technique are almost endless. However, it might be difficult to implement. It would be kinda OP if you could just use it on any player regardless of their health. I think a fair solution to this would be that this move only works on players who are knocked or below a certain amount of health. This, in my opinion, would make it fair. Leave a comment down below on how you think this move should be implemented. Alright, that's where I'm going to end the video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. With that out of the way, I hope you guys have a great day, evening, whatever time it is you guys, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye guys.